What is going on, nerds and nerdettes? It's your boy Stevie B with this week's haul video. Promise not clickbait this time. I finally pulled the trigger, got one of the major grails that I've been after. If you watch my channel, you probably know which one I'm talking about. I've talked about it off and on about wanting that book for a long time, and I finally pulled the trigger and got one out. There, got one delivered. It came today, so I'm excited to show you that one and talk about the foobar that I had before I got it. We'll talk about that. But in the news today, big news today in the comic book world, we'll stick with that. Netflix has thrown their hat in the ring to purchase Warner Brothers, along with Paramount and a couple others. I think the big ones, Paramount and Netflix. What does that mean for, if Netflix wins the bidding war, what does that mean for DCU and properties? Probably not much for the foreseeable future. I think James Gunn is going to be able to finish what he's started, but as far as the distant future goes, Netflix is definitely known for focusing on streaming content, not so much theatrical content. So you could probably see most of the future projects that aren't already in development or whatever will probably be straight to streaming, or at the very least you get a week's worth of theatrical release and then boom, straight to streaming. So I think as a fan it's probably kind of cool. Financially, I don't know, man. I mean, well, who am I to say? Netflix is doing just fine without my advice, but I would just think, why would you not capitalize on the theatrical release? But maybe they see more money, a bigger revenue short term in streaming than they do longer term in theatrical releases. But I don't think James Gunn's universe is in danger. I don't think we're gonna see a radical shutdown of the DCU. Some projects may end up on the cutting room floor, but I don't see a whole lot of change. I think they're still going to go forward with most of the stuff that James Gunn has had planned. So I don't. That's assuming Netflix wins. Now Paramount wins, or there's no telling what's going to happen. I'm kind of pulling for Netflix because I think that's the lesser of the evils if Netflix gets it, but that's just my opinion. I'm not saying I'm right or wrong, just my opinion. But anyway, that is the big news. I'm really surprised that Warner Brothers was up for sale, to be honest with you. That's such a cash cow. I would imagine purchasing it is probably gonna be a gazillion dollars. It's gonna be ridiculous. But Netflix has that kind of money, so hey, do you? I guess if I had gazillions of dollars at my disposal and I could buy Batman and Superman, I don't know that an acquisition of Warner Brothers would affect the comic book industry. I would hope not. The worst possible scenario that I could think of is someone like Netflix buys Warner Brothers and its properties, and it includes comics, and they just decide that, we're just going to go digital. Oh, that would be nightmare fuel for true comic book collectors. I know some of you out there love digital comics, and and they're great if you want to read Amazing Fantasy 15, because most of us can't hold one, but you can buy a facsimile. But I am anti-digital. I'm anti-digital. I don't want to see comic books go to digital. I don't want to see it. I know, I prefer they stay print. I would rather have a hard copy than a digital copy. Can't trade them, can't sell them, can't do nothing with them. They just sit on your phone and whatever. Of course, it would make my comic book room a little less crowded, but whatever. Anyway, I've rambled on for enough on my monologue. Let's move on to some books. That's what you came here to see if Stevie B clickbaited you. I didn't. Spoiler alert, I didn't. It's going to be awesome. But, we got to build to it, though. First up, from Midtown, I picked this up, and I picked up the EM Gist variant, because I just like it. It's really cool. But Spirits of Violence, #1. This is the first appearance of the Spirit of Violence. And before you crucify me and go, no, it isn't. I know that the character who becomes a Spirit of Violence was in Ghost Rider #1 back in late 80s, early 90s, or whatever. I know. So, but this is the technical first appearance of that character as the Spirit of Violence. It's also the first appearance of the team called the Decade. So, little minor key. If it's a key that sounds interesting, like it has potential to me, I'll pick one up. I'm not a big Ghost Rider collector per se, so honestly, this is a, I say spec book, but like I sell anything anyway, but just an investment piece maybe. Someday, instead of being, $5 cover price, maybe worth $10 20 years down the road. But next up, I had to get this one, and it's part of the Age of Revelation storyline, Marvel, but it's the Undead Pool, and this is the Andrea Sorrentino cover that I picked up. Got a lot of first appearances in them. Most of them are not going to pan out to much of anything, if any of them. But it has got a few first appearances. The one that kind of struck my attention and made me think, I kind of want it, was a first appearance of Kid Man Thing. I was like, I know it's a contradiction of terms, Kid, Man, Thing, whatever. But also the first appearance of Magni, Magni, whatever. First appearance of Fantastica, and the first appearance of Fearless. So out of those 4 first appearances, maybe one of them might retain some interest. But anyway, it's still a cool cover. It's still cool. Undeadpool. I think I like it. Little zombie Deadpool. So why not? Why not grab one? All right, and that was it for Midtown. You'll see that I'm buying less and less new stuff and going more and more to the old school stuff. So then off we went to eBay. And the first pickup I got, I wished I would have wrote down this seller's store in eBay, because this guy goes above and beyond in shipping, ships really fast, and I'll show you. But this one, I picked up Swamp Thing number 49. It's got this, it's the first cameo appearance of Great Darkness, and with the Stephen Bissett cover. You all seen it. It's one of my spec books. I really, really, really think that Justice League Dark characters are going to see the light of day sooner than later. I think that's it's something that, and he may have already spoken about it, but I haven't heard anything. But so I'm kind of specking on the Justice League Dark, and this is the first cameo or first unofficial appearance of the Justice League Dark. But I love that cover. And this seller actually shipped this perfectly in a Gemini mailer. And then a nice touch is he put a clear backing boards on them. Now, I'm probably not going to waste a clear backing board on this book, so I'll probably replace it and put a regular backing board in it, and then keep that clear backing board for something a little, something that's got a wraparound cover or something to show that off. But really cool book. I do have the first full actual appearance of Justice League Dark, but I think this unofficial one, given if that team ever blows up, if it ever sees the light of day on like the big screen or something, I think this book is going to be a key, because not only is it such a gorgeous cover, but it'll be another 180 181 debate, which one's the actual first appearance, and so it'll get its day in the sun. Okay, next up, here, this is my little screw up. So I'm sure, which will probably give away what the next book is, but I'm surfing eBay, and I'm always watching eBay. Trying to find a good deal on the big Grail book that I was after. And I typed it in, and this book popped up, and it's a low grade, but the guy wanted $20 for it, and I was like, I cannot pass that up. And I opened it to look at condition and see how bad is it really, and saw that it was in somebody else's cart already. So I looked at the condition, and I was like, yeah, it's a low grade. It's really low grade, but for $20, I can't pass it up. Not that it's a bad book, just not the one I thought it was. But it's Detective Comics number 402. This is the second appearance of Man-Bat and the first appearance of Francine Langstrom, the wife of Man-Bat. I picked it up for $20, and it is definitely a low-grade copy, for sure. Well, here's the bitch of it all is I pulled the trigger on this, and I have this book already in a much better grade. But I thought that was not the book that I thought it was, and I was paying $20 for it. I should have known, but I thought maybe it's just in such a low grade, and they're just selling it that cheap because of the condition. But I would rather have, for $20, I'll take a reader copy of it. Which leads me to the book that I thought it was. And you probably guessed it by now. But when I got this one in the mail and realized what I had done, I was aggravated, to say the least. Very, very aggravated. And when I'm aggravated because I make mistakes like that, then I'm quick to want to rectify that mistake. And I did. So I went and rage bought the book that I wanted to begin with. I got it right now. I got it in a case. Let me take it out here. And you guessed it, Detective Comics number 400, the first appearance of Man-Bat. Now you can see at a glance, they're both Neil Adams covers, and they're kind of similar. Not exactly like, there's a clear difference between the two, but I had gotten so excited because I thought I found a good deal that I just buy. Saw it was in somebody else's cart, and I went buy. If I'd have spent another 3 seconds looking at that book, I'd realized that it was not this book. But this is the book that I have been after for quite a while now, and had never pulled the trigger on it, but I finally found it at a decent price. Grade-wise, it's a mid-grade. Much better than the grade on this one, for sure. I'll show it off a little bit. I'll show the cover off. It's got some glare. It's in that Mylar Magic. But you can see it does have some spine damage. The most significant damage, the cover is beautiful, presents really well. The most significant damage, there's not really any subscription creases in the middle or any dog ears, but it does have this little chip in the corner, this little piece that's chipped out of the corner. I can live with that. For the price, I can live with it. And considering the thing is almost as old as I am, it's not going to be a 9.8. It's not even going to be a 9. It's probably not going to be a 7.5 in my affordability range. So I will settle for a 5.5. I would say maybe even a 6. But I will settle for a mid-grade and be happy that I got it. And it'll display nicely to what I will go on record as saying the best sculpt for a Man-Bat action figure to have ever been done, and this predates McFarlane's stuff, who is pretty good, but this was 90s. This is made in the 90s. I believe it was the DC Legends series, but the best Man-Bat sculpt ever, in my opinion, is this one. And this is going to go nicely. I think I'm going to try to display it with my Man-Bat figure here, if I get my hand off his face. But tell me that is not just an absolute gorgeous sculpt for the 90s. I mean, this arguably probably the best action figure that ever came out, superhero action figure that ever came out during that time period was Man-Bat, with maybe the exception of some of the more action collectibles, because those were pretty good, but even this one's even better than those. I think this is by far one of my favorite figures. But I don't know. What do you think, man? Does he need to go? He needs to be displayed with this somehow? I think so. But I do have an acrylic case. These ones that I've showcased on here before with the magnetic covers. Drop her in and slam her down. But I've did reviews on these cases before. They are heavy, and these are awesome for $10 a piece. Can't beat them. So it will, if I don't display them with this, you will with my Man-Bat action figure, it will definitely go. It's definitely a wall book for sure. Another Grail off, but I'm not done yet. There's another one on the way. Another major key. I really think this character, I've said it before and I'll say it again, I'll keep saying it until the day I die. Underutilized Batman villain. Way underutilized. We have seen the Joker, Riddler, Bane, Ra's al Ghul. We've seen all the A-list, and I use the term loosely, Penguin and all the main villains in Batman have been done. Two-Face, Mr. Freeze. Never the most interesting villain in Man-Bat's, in his rogues gallery. Man-Bat, tell me that I don't know that we'll ever see a live action, but man, he'd be great in Creature Commandos. But they're doing a Clayface movie, man, a Man-Bat solo movie. That would be epic. I would wait in line to see that. Anyway, but that is it. I told you, not clickbait. I know I promised this key in a couple videos ago because I thought I had bought it, and that's when I said crap, and I got this one, and then I was like, wow, I didn't live up to the hype. It wasn't intentional, I promise, but I got it now. We are good. But anyway, that is going to do it for this week's haul video. Tune in next week. Hopefully it gets here by then. Got another major Grail waiting for its rightful place on the wall of fame back here. So make sure you tune in next week. Hopefully I'll have it by then. Surely it's in the mail already. It's been shipped. Surely it won't take a week to get here. So it is in transit. So it should be here next week. Can't wait to show that one to you. Another monster Grail I've been wanting to knock off my list. And another little controversial first appearance, 181 situation. But I gotta have them both anyway, so screw it. That's gonna do it. Before you go, do all those YouTube things we love for you to do. Like, subscribe, comment, share, and we will see you guys in the next one. Peace.